Do you feel that? That strange emptiness? That feeling that something or someone is about to happen? You can't explain it, but your heart knows. As if your soul senses it's already in someone's thoughts. What if it's not an illusion? What if the person you're waiting for is already thinking of you? There are subtle signs, silent connections, invisible plans. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't mere hope. Perhaps this is the moment your destiny begins to shift. Stay with me. What you're about to hear could change everything.
1. Silence is not a void. You are here. In this strange time when everything seems suspended, you look around you, but nothing moves, nothing responds, no sign, no word, no movement, and slowly, doubt creeps in. You wonder if you were mistaken. You say to yourself, if it was really for me, why do I have nothing? Why is everything so silent? But listen to me carefully. This silence you feel is not forgetting. It is not rejection. It is not even punishment. This silence, it is a sacred language, a language that Allah uses to prepare the hearts He loves. But very few know how to hear it. Even fewer know how to understand it. Because in the spiritual world, silence is never empty. It's full of construction, invisible movements, secret changes. But the ego hates that. It wants to see. It wants to touch. It wants it now. But your soul knows. It recognizes this sensation, this floating, this slowness, this apparent nothingness, because it has already experienced it before every turning point in your life. Have you forgotten? Before every answer, there was silence. Before every healing, there was a void. Before every victory, there was this feeling of abandonment. Allah has never worked in noise. He shapes in secret. He refines in solitude. He shapes even your most sacred bonds, including the one you may be waiting for with your future spouse, without you witnessing it. You think that seeing nothing means nothing is happening, but that's not true. There are things happening, without you being able to see them. Perhaps right now, a page of your destiny is turning, in silence. Perhaps a heart is learning to pray for you, without knowing your name. Perhaps a necessary distance is saving you from a relationship that would have destroyed your soul. You want signs? But have you considered that the lack of response is a sign? A sign that you are in a period of protection, that you are in a divine waiting room where things are prepared with heavenly precision. You have not been cast aside. You have been set aside. And there is a big difference. To be cast aside is to be forgotten. To be set aside is to be preserved. And those whom Allah preserves, He forms. He doesn't give them everything right away. He strips them. He sometimes breaks them. He cleanses them of anything that could sabotage what He is about to offer them. Look at your life. Look carefully. There have been losses that awakened you, expectations that brought you back to Him, silences that hollowed out your heart so that it would be able to hold more. And this emptiness you feel, He isn't there to punish you. He is there to expand you. You think you're waiting for someone, but in reality, you're waiting for a moment that comes only to those who have been made capable of loving deeply. A moment when your heart is no longer a prison of need, but a refuge of faith. Do you understand now? Silence is not an emptiness. It's a cradle where Allah grows something in you, or in the other. Something you can't force, something you can't control, but something you can honor through your patience, your faith, and your surrender. And if you listen, truly, you will see that the silence speaks to you. It prepares you. It says softly, not now, but soon. 2. The story you've never been told. Let me tell you a story. Not a story from a book. Not one of those we repeat until we lose all meaning. a true story, but one we've never been told. It's the story of two souls, separated by distance, by time, by hardships, but connected without even knowing it. The first soul, maybe you. You walk, you live, you pray. But deep down, you feel this lack. Not a lack of distraction, not a surface emptiness, a deep hollow, the one that can't be explained, the one that speaks of connection, of completeness, of someone you've never met, but whom your heart already knows. And the other soul, it lives, it struggles, it waits. Maybe in another country, maybe in the same city, but she feels the same thing. That strange feeling of being incomplete in a world that pushes you to be satisfied with the bare minimum. She too tried to fill that void. She too doubted. She wondered if this wait wasn't in vain. If this connection was just an illusion, a romantic dream. But there was that moment, late at night, between breaths, after a silent prayer, when her heart calmed down. Because she understood. This connection is deeper than logic. Maybe she saw you in a dream, yes. Maybe she came across your name in a book and her heart fluttered for no reason. Maybe she'd even seen you before without recognizing you. But she felt something. Not love at first sight. Not an obsession. A gentle, discreet certainty. That somewhere, someone is being shaped for her, as she is being shaped for him. And while you struggle in your thoughts, while you wonder if this bond is real or just an invention of your tired mind, she too struggles. She too falls, gets up, starts again. She rejects what is not you. She shrinks from what could make her lose the authenticity of the bond she longs for. Because even without knowing you, she already respects you. She guards her heart, not out of fear, but out of faith. Faith that what is meant doesn't need to be torn away. Faith that sincere hearts recognize each other, even in silence. What no one has ever told you is that your current loneliness, she perhaps shares it. What you experience as a test, she experiences it too. Every time you feel this emptiness, this lack, this need to confide in someone, she too, perhaps at the same moment, raises her eyes to the sky with that same discreet sigh. This bond is not fiction. It is not a naive expectation. It is an invisible construction, an echoing prayer, a call from soul to soul. And you think you are waiting alone, but you don't know. You don't know that while you listen to these words, someone, somewhere, hears the same inner beating and moves forward, slowly, patiently, sometimes with tears, but always with hope. She moves forward, towards you. 3. You haven't been forgotten. You know how it feels to be there, sitting, watching the others move along. The invitations arrive, the photos flow, hands are held, eyes meet. And you smile politely. But inside, something tightens. You ask yourself, what about me? Why not me? You don't get a clear answer, only a heavy silence. And that increasingly familiar feeling, having been left out. You replay the decisions you've made. You relive those conversations you wished you had avoided. You think back to those messages you should never have sent, or those you left unanswered out of fear. And that phrase haunts you. Maybe it's my fault. You think you failed. You think you've messed up. And worse still, you're starting to believe that maybe you don't deserve what you're asking for. But listen. Listen to me with your heart. Because what I'm going to tell you now, you haven't heard it often enough. You haven't been forgotten. You've been loved in a silence you don't yet understand. And sometimes, the proof of divine love isn't giving you what you ask for right away. It's protecting you from what you think you want, because your soul isn't ready, or because the other person hasn't reached you yet. The disconnect you feel with others, it's not rejection. It's a mismatch in mission. You've been put on a different rhythm, a different tempo, a different level of depth. And yes, it hurts. Because in this depth, you see what others don't. You feel the absence more deeply. You desire something more truly. You don't just want company. You want a partner of faith, of soul, of sabr. So Allah kept you away from the superficial. He preserved you from the almost. He kept you far from the quick, the easy, the temporary. And you thought it was an oversight. But no, it was a distinction. Your name is written in an invisible, precise, perfect plan. And even if you don't see anything moving, even if you feel stuck waiting, it's still moving. You haven't been put on hold. You've been set aside to be formed differently, with more depth, more awareness, more connection to your Creator. This emptiness you feel, this emptiness that sometimes burns, is not a sign that you're alone. It's a sign that your heart has been reserved. Like a land that isn't trampled, because it bears a rare seed. And this seed, it grows, slowly, but surely. So yes, keep crying sometimes. Keep praying with your tears when the night is long. But never let this pain make you believe that you've been forgotten. Because every tear you shed in secret, every Amin you say, without really believing it anymore, every time you smile at others while hiding your emptiness, He sees all of this, and nothing is lost, nothing is ignored. And if nothing shows up today, it's not because you're late, it's because you're expected. 4. The invisible thread. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a thread, thin, discreet, inaccessible to the hands, but vibrating in the heart. It can't be seen, but sometimes you feel it, in a strange dream, in a thought that arises without warning, in that thrill you can't explain, when your heart thinks of someone you've never seen. This thread exists. It's not a metaphor. It's a truth that the soul recognizes, long before the intellect. A bond that depends neither on place nor time. A thread stretched between two hearts that don't yet know each other, but that advance towards each other, step by step, without even realizing it. And the purer this bond, the more protected it is. It's no coincidence that the meeting takes so long. It's not a punishment if you don't yet understand where it leads. It's a sacred preservation. For everything precious is hidden before being revealed. The rare jewel isn't sold at the market. It's sealed, guarded, preserved, until the moment is right. Not when you want it, but when your heart is ready to wear it. And you move forward. You think you're walking alone, but this thread accompanies you. It sometimes trembles. It strains. It seems to disappear in the wind. but it never breaks. Every right choice you make, even in pain, strengthens this bond. Every time you say no to what doesn't elevate you, every time you refuse to sell out your heart, every time you choose faith over fear, the thread becomes brighter. You don't need to run, no need to search everywhere, to exhaust your heart trying to find. You're already on your way, and so is the other. Perhaps right now, this thread is passing through a dark valley, a desert of doubt, a wind of trials, but it continues to move forward. And you, with each prayer, you gently pull on this thread. With each prostration, you draw closer to it. With each renunciation, each patience, each hope you refuse to abandon, you weave it more firmly. This bond doesn't need to be visible to be real. It's the kind of bond even angels respect, a sacred thread, strung by the Creator himself. You can't hurry it, but you can prepare for it. You can continue to believe in it. You can refine yourself, purify yourself, draw closer until the moment arrives. Not when you expect it, but when everything within you is ready to acknowledge it.
5. What if it were soon? What if? Yes, really. What if it were soon? What if while you listen to these words, someone, somewhere, is fighting the urge to write to you? Not because they're afraid, but because they sense it's profound. What if that message you're waiting for was ready to reach you tomorrow? Or that look you'll encounter on an ordinary day was the one you've been praying to recognize? You think it's far away, but are you ready if it were now? Not just emotionally ready, not just ready to be loved, to no longer be alone, spiritually ready. Is your heart a shelter? Or a field of ruins, still haunted by ghosts of yesterday? Do you want the presence of a human being? Or the mission that this union will carry within you? Because what you're asking for isn't just a couple. It's a divine act, a sacred bond, a trust from heaven. You want someone to lift you up, someone to push you towards God. But are you ready to do it for the other? Or are you simply looking for a temporary balm for your inner emptiness? Because if that's what you want, it's not a union. It's an escape. Why do you think the emptiness lasts? Why do you think others get married? And you are still here, waiting. You think you're late, but maybe Allah has slowed you down out of mercy, because He wants to see you heal before loving, rebuild you before building. Emptiness is not a punishment, it's training. You want to be understood, but are you ready to understand? You want to be reassured, but are you capable of reassuring others, even in their silence? You think you want sincere love, but are you being sincere with yourself? You say, I'm ready. But your heart, is it aligned? Or still divided between past regrets and unrealistic expectations? Because what you ask for is more than happiness. It is fidelity to a heavenly plan. And this plan, it doesn't come knocking on a half-open door. It descends where the space has been emptied of everything else, where there is no more confusion, no more illusions, only peace, a readiness, a pure calling. So I ask you again, what if it's soon, not in months, not in years? What if the moment approaches without your knowing it? Will you be ready to welcome it or to acknowledge it, even if it comes in a way you didn't expect? Do you simply want someone, or the person God has prepared for your elevation? You've held on this far. And it's no accident, it wasn't just a video. It was a reminder, you're not forgotten, you're not late. You're exactly where you needed to be to hear this. If these words touched your heart, share this message.
because maybe the person you're waiting for will stumble upon it. And if this reminder came at the right time for you, imagine what it could do for someone else. Subscribe, stay connected, because the next part of your story begins soon. And when it does, you'll know why you waited.